Well, hello, everyone. My name is Darren, and I'm one of the marketing coordinators with BCIT's School of Health Sciences. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Health Sciences information session for the Electroneurophysiology program. Firstly, I just want to say how happy we are to see you, and thanks for coming out and attending our presentation today. And you can feel free to post any questions or comments into the chat during the presentation, and we will address as many questions as we can near the end of the presentation in the Q&A segment. And just before we get started, I'd like to mention that the British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam. So today's agenda is we're going to go through welcome and introductions. We'll do a couple of quick polls just to find out where everyone is at. We'll watch a electroneurophysiology video, a very short one. And then we'll go through the presentation and program overviews. We'll have some information on program advising, and then we'll do questions and answers at the very end. So just to start with, let me pull up my polls. And if I could please get everyone to just answer to the most appropriate choice for each of these. And now the important question, the electroneurophysiology poll question. What is electroneurophysiology? And please select your favorite choice. A study of electric activity in the weather, functional imaging using radioactive tracers, study of electrons and neurons in the solar system, or diagnostic testing to record electrical activity of peripheral. And with that, I'm going to introduce and pass it on to Christy McIntosh, the program head for electroneurophysiology, and she can let us know how everyone did. Hopefully good, because it's 100% all the same answer. Take it away, Christy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hi. My name's Keith Anderson, Bachelor of Arts Technologist in Training. Are you a neuroscience nerd, a brainiac, crazy for the cranium? Then do we have a program for you?
In the Electroneurophysiology program here at BCIT, you will be studying the central nervous system by learning how to perform electroencephalograms, or EEGs. You will not only receive lectures, but also hands-on experience and practice in your labs. Also be studying the peripheral nervous system and learning how to perform nerve conduction studies. Because of its smaller class size, the program gives instructors the time to help you one-on-one whenever you need, whether it be with class projects or technique in the lab. The small class size also helps you bond with your classmates, so even though the program may be hard, you can always find ways to have fun.
And I'd like to once again introduce Christy McIntosh, the program head for electroneurophysiology. Are you there, Christy?
I am. Hi, everybody.
Right.
Thanks for your patience. Sorry, I was having some trouble joining while we were doing the poll. I was having trouble turning on my audio and visual while the poll was still up. Anyway, so I'm back. Thank you so much for Joining us today, we're quite excited about our program this year. We've just undergone some changes. We're now accepting applicants every year, and we are also starting in January. So if you are looking for something for next year, but you really don't want to wait for September, actually, you can always think about actually applying during the year for a January start date instead of waiting for a full year. So anyway, next slide, please. So that was our link actually to that video. I love that video. Actually, that was a lot of fun. Our students put that together by themselves. So the Electroneurophysiology program is actually only one of 3 specialized programs of its kind in Canada. Most of our students actually end up working in hospitals, occasionally healthcare clinics, and they learn to operate sophisticated electroneurophysiology, electroneuroddiagnostic testing equipment. We are the only provider of such equipment or such training in BC, and BCIT plays an integral part of facilitating these processes. EEG, fun fact, it's not a new test. A lot of people think maybe it's a new test because you can't find us in every hospital. We're actually kind of a small field. Hans Berger, who was born in 1873, he was a German psychiatrist, recorded his first human EEGs in 1924. And I believe actually he practiced on his kids. That's kind of the other part of that story. So it's been along for a long, long time, which means it's needed. And you can find it at a lot of hospitals, but not all of them. We are a small field. Next slide. So a little bit about our program. It's a continuous 24-month program. We currently have about 8 to 10 students. In year 1, the emphasis is on learning and applying foundational knowledge and theory. We do have 4 weeks of clinical practicum in the middle of the program. And in year 2, we do 3 online seminars straddling 40 weeks of clinical practicum. So you actually really get immersed in what a hospital is like. We do clinical practicums all across Canada. You get to meet a lot of great people and really do a lot of fantastic networking. Next slide, please. So as I said, there's a total of 44 weeks of clinical practicum. This is approximately 35 hours a week, Monday to Friday. And that's a really nice thing about our field, actually, because there isn't really a lot of tremendous amount of call. So no sort of night shifts or anything like that. There are many sites across Canada that we use. And we do ask that 50% of our clinical placements should be outside of the Lower Mainland. And we encourage everybody to look at this as an adventure to explore Canada, meet some great people, and think about your career. So job opportunities, it's extremely optimistic outlook for graduates. Most of our graduates find employment before they actually graduate. And more electroneurophysiology technologists are required in our field. A lot of our graduates, the majority become technologists and then go on to become chief technologists. We also have some department managers. Some people become instructors in the field, researchers, sales reps, and program managers.
Oh, well, that was fast, Christy. So I think you can have a bit of a rest until we get to the questions and answers, and not sure why that changed. And I will be reviewing with you the entrance requirements and admission process, along with briefly discussing some key student services that are available to you at BCIT. For the program details, you can see the start date is now January every year. So the application period, or the next one, is starting in January next year until May 31st for the first review. And then there will be a second review June the 1st, 2023 until August 31st. And as it says, the program is 2 years long and there's an intake every year. And applicants to this program must either be residents of BC or be sponsored under an interprovincial agreement. So filling out the online application is relatively straightforward. Once the application opens for each cycle, you can log in and review the online application. You can work on filling out the application at your own pace. It does not go to admissions until you pay the application fee. The date you apply does not have an impact on your application, and you have until the application deadline date to submit your application. But you can certainly start it and work on it before the end date. Regarding the application process, you will first review all the entrance requirements and the application process dates. You will then upgrade if necessary, and BCIT does offer upgrading courses in many subjects. Program advising can assist you with that. Ensure that when you apply online that you have all your required documents, such as transcripts, ready to scan and upload as PDF files. BCIT.ca admission will guide you through the step-by-step application process. And once you are ready to apply online, you can visit bcit.ca/apply. And the student application fee for domestic students is 90 Canadian dollars. The application process takes place entirely online. Therefore, you will need to convert your official transcripts and any additional documents that may be required into PDF files. Now let's look at the requirements. And the required entrance requirements is 2 years in a full-time education in English or an English-speaking country or equivalent test courses, English Studies 12, Pre-Calculus 12, and some post-secondary education, the Human Anatomy and Physiology course or equivalent, and 6 credits of physics. You'll need to complete the online Casper test, and there's a mandatory applicant questionnaire. There are test course options for meeting entrance requirements, and please contact program advising for assistance with that. Physics courses must be at least 2 semesters and suitable for students studying health sciences, science, or engineering. Acceptable courses will cover basic mechanics in the first semester, leading into a section on waves, electricity, and magnetism, and basic circuits in the second semester. The mandatory applicant questionnaire is your opportunity to highlight any non-academic experiences you have that will strengthen your application, as well as to highlight your skills and abilities. The Casper test, like I mentioned, is an online test, and the test will utilize everyday scenarios. A moral dilemma is presented to the test taker, and there's no right or wrong answer. So you cannot really study for this test as it is not knowledge-based. However, on the Casper site, there is a full 12-section Casper sample test available online. And once you're registered, you'll have access to that. You've created your Casper account, and you can access the sample test. And the test is free of charge to use, and there's a lot of information on the Casper site to help you to prepare for the exam, but it's not something you can study for, but it will prepare you for what is expected. So please spend some time reviewing this information. And I should just mention that the preferred requirements or its preference is given to applications with academic grades above the minimum, additional post-secondary academic courses, or a bachelor's degree. So as mentioned, as part of the online application, you will need to upload documents for a timely assessment to be completed. You can download official digital transcripts, or you can convert your transcripted documents to PDF files. Information on how to convert documents to PDF files is available on our website. For example, you can scan or take pictures of your official transcripts and save them as PDF files. And please ensure you upload all required documents to minimize delays in the application process. So the admissions process, admissions reviews the applications to ensure requirements have been met. Admissions forward completed applications to the Electroneurophysiology department. After the application deadline date, ENPY department shortlists and selects applicants. Admission sends out acceptance letters, and then you pay the commitment fee, and you are in. Now, moving from the academics, I would like to let you know BCIT is committed to supporting students in a holistic sense. We want you to succeed not only in your academics, but also outside of school. And some of the student services that are available to you as a prospective student, and others will become available once you become an enrolled student. And here are some of the important student supports that I'd like to mention. If you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding. BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. And I would like to mention that we also have a President's Entrance Award, and the selection is based on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. So please contact financial aid directly for more information on that. BCIT is also committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. BCIT's Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus. They provide medical care for current BCIT students all year round. We also have a counseling and student development department available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. And last but not least, our recreation services. It promotes, encourages, and enables the practice of physical well-being. And we consider recreation an integral part of campus life and welcome all students to enjoy their services. And if you have any questions after today, I encourage you to connect with program advising. They are available by telephone, email, and Zoom appointment. And please go to the webpage at bcit.ca/advising for the most up-to-date contact information and service hours. And I should mention that if your inquiry is time sensitive, please call for assistance. The phone would be the fastest way to get an answer. And I'll just quickly mention that we would love for you to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Those are our handles for the School of Health Sciences. And there are much more very informative links included here, but everyone will get a copy of the slide presentation and a link to the video, so no need to write any of this down. You'll be sent an email sometime next week with all this information included. And that takes us to the questions and answers. So I have not been watching the chat, but I know Jesse's been busy putting stuff in there. So I'm curious where we're at. See if I can find any questions unanswered.
Just responded to one of two so far.
Okay.
And I don't know if Christy would want to comment on either of the two that have been placed in the chat so far. The first one was more specific to the credit-based requirements from post-secondary. There's no specific grade outlined as a minimum, but my response was to suggest that where there is no grade specified, it would be common that the student could submit any passing grades, but it would be obviously more favorable to have stronger results, as this is a competitive program. They will be competing with other applicants that could have stronger results than just a passing level.
Excellent. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, I can add a little bit to that. I completely agree. Everything there is no mandatory or specific grade for post-secondary education, as it is a competitive process to get in. Yeah, just obviously any better marks are better, makes you more competitive. But yeah, we would be looking for passes actually in those university level courses. Let's see, what else was there? You said there was a second question that hadn't been answered.
There's
so yeah,
one from, sorry,
from Rebecca, I think.
Yes.
So you wanted to know how competitive the program was. Do most accepted applicants have a bachelor's degree? Most do, but if you still, in our past, when we've looked at the demographics of the students that we have accepted, I would say about 80% had degrees, and probably about 95%, 98% had some post-secondary education. So that definitely makes you more competitive to have some, and in the past, actually, we didn't have the two courses, the anatomy and physiology, and also the physics courses requirement. But in the past, it was about 80% had bachelor's degrees, and not specific ones, like sort of any bachelor's degrees. So that's how I would answer that question.
Okay, excellent. And there was a very tail end of that. I'm not sure if we mentioned it. I still need a few prerequisites for the program that I could complete in the first semester of 2023. Am I able to apply this January to start in 2024?
Yes, the answer would be yes, because if you did actually if you finished up your prerequisite in the spring, you could easily apply in the summer. That would be fine. And then, so which is really nice though for people, and I like to emphasize sort of this as quite a perk for our program, that, you know, if you were interested in applying for something next year, you might have to wait a year to get into a program that started in September. But for us, you know, we could actually give you an answer next June or next September, and you could start in September. You wouldn't have to wait, you know, till September 2024. You could actually start in January 2024.
We still have some time left. If anyone has any other questions, that would be great. You can throw them in the chat, or if you feel like it, you could always unmute yourself and ask over the audio, whatever you're more comfortable with. And just while we'll give people a chance to think and or type. Whoa, there's a good one.
That's my response. I think that's what you're saying there.
Thanks. Thanks for your
as well.
Thank you for your thoroughness. That is excellent. I just also want to let everyone know that a copy of the slide presentation and links to the info session video recording will be sent out to all registrants sometime next week once they're all edited and up on YouTube. And if you're not thinking of anything at the time, but you think of something later, you can certainly make note of these email addresses that are very important. You can get in contact directly with Christy for program-specific questions, or program advising if it's more of an admissions type question. Now it's a little quiet out there. We'll give you just a few more minutes. And if not, we can call it early and have the gift of time.
Yeah, thanks so much, Darren. I'm more than happy to speak with anybody. If you want to email me, I'm happy to set up an appointment, Zoom call, have you in for a day, and you can tour the lab and actually see some of our students. So I'm more than happy to connect with you. Please do not hesitate to reach out.
And I was going to quickly comment with respect to us in program advising. We're certainly available to try and support those individuals looking into programs such as this. I do want to push the comment that it is ideal to reference our website for our service periods, especially as they do seem to fluctuate here and there. We actually did adjust our services today, so we weren't able to offer in-person advising because of another meeting that conflicted with that time frame. So definitely important to regularly check the website for program advising to make sure that you're aware of any changes that may be happening with respect to reaching out to us.
Thank you for that, Jesse. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for everyone for attending. And thanks. Have a great night, everyone. And thank you very much for showing up.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Christy.